When you think about the Christmas story, your mind probably goes to shepherds, wise men, Mary and Joseph, right? But there's this villain kind of lurking in the shadows, a guy we often just gloss over, King Herod. Today, we're going to pull him out into the light. And trust me, he is way more complex and way more terrifying than you probably ever realized.
Seriously, who is the forgotten villain? We love to focus on the heroes of the story, and that makes sense. But it's the darkness that makes the light seem so much brighter. And by really understanding Herod, the villain, we can start to grasp the true world-shaking importance of that night in Bethlehem.
All right, let's dive in. To get Herod, you have to get this massive contradiction at his core. He was a man of magnificent creation and, at the very same time, just monstrous cruelty, a total paradox of a ruler. I mean, history calls him Herod the Great, and he absolutely earned that title. The guy was an architectural genius, completely obsessed with building a legacy. He took the Second Temple and turned it into such a wonder that people literally said, "He who has not seen Herod's building has never seen a beautiful thing." He built entire cities from scratch, incredible fortresses like Masada and Herodium, a legacy in stone for sure. But here's the catch. Behind all that grand construction was a deeply, deeply insecure man. See, Herod wasn't fully Jewish. He was an Edomite, an outsider. And he wasn't chosen by his people. He was put on the throne by Rome. So he lived with this constant, crippling fear that someone with a more legitimate claim would come along and take it all away. And that terror, it turned his palace into a slaughterhouse. This wasn't just smart politics. This was paranoia completely off the rails. He executed his own wife, Mariamne, a woman he was supposedly madly in love with. He executed his mother-in-law. And then, get this, he executed not one, not two, but 3 of his own sons. All because he was terrified they might one day threaten his throne. His cruelty became so notorious, it was known all the way in Rome. The Emperor Augustus himself reportedly made this grim joke about it. Since Herod was technically Jewish and didn't eat pork, Augustus said his pigs were safer in the palace than his own children. Just a truly chilling thought. Okay, so this brings us to the central mystery of the whole thing. Why would this ruthless, powerful king, a guy backed by Roman legions, be thrown into a total panic by rumors of a baby? A baby born in some backwater village. It all came down to this one question from the Magi. And listen to the specific words. Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? That single word, born, was like a dagger straight to the heart of Herod's insecurity. It hit his deepest fear head on. Because this set up a fundamental clash of power. Look at Herod's claim. It was a political appointment won by the sword, a fragile gift from Rome. It was temporary. The child's claim, though, a divine birthright, given by heaven. It was natural, eternal. Herod's power was manufactured and artificial. This child's was authentic, and Herod knew. Herod understood that this child wasn't just another rival. He was a replacement. He represented a whole new era, a new kind of kingdom that would make Herod's entire reign of darkness and violence obsolete. So, in this desperate, tragic move, he tried to assassinate the future to protect his present. And this confrontation just sets up one of the most profound contrasts in all of history. It's a tale of 2 kings, 2 thrones, and 2 completely different ideas of what power even is. The opposition between them is just stark. Herod climbed to his throne by stepping over the bodies of his family. Christ would get to his by sacrificing his own body for others. Herod's kingdom was geographical, built of stone. Christ's kingdom is spiritual, built in the hearts of people. Herod's whole philosophy was, I kill so that I may live. Christ was, I die so that you may live. It's a complete inversion of power. Now, this is where this ancient story stops being just history, because it's also a mirror. It reflects a battle that takes place inside every single one of us. So what is this inner Herod? Well, it's our ego. It's that part of us that wants to be king of our own life, to sit on the throne of our heart and be in total, absolute control. It's that voice inside that resists surrender, that clings to its own plans, its own comfort, its own power. And just like the historical Herod, this ego, this Herod of the self, gets deeply disturbed when it's confronted with the message of Christ. Because a call to love, to serve, to forgive, to surrender control, that is a direct threat to the ego's iron grip on the throne of our hearts. So where did this epic conflict lead? What was history's final verdict on these two kings and their completely opposite kingdoms? For all his great buildings and his earthly power, Herod's story ends in tragedy. He died in agony from a horrible disease, paranoid, and all alone. His name isn't remembered as the Great, but as a monstrous tyrant. But the child whose future he tried to snuff out, that child lived. And his story didn't end in death. It ended in resurrection, becoming the ultimate source of hope for all time. And today, that legacy continues. Millions upon millions of people all over the world don't bow to Herod's memory in fear. They kneel to the child from Bethlehem in love. It's an incredible reversal, isn't it? The simple, humble manger proved to be more enduring, more powerful than the fortified, magnificent palace. Humility outlasted might. Ultimately, this is the truth the story reveals. The power of self-giving love is infinitely stronger than the power of the sword. The kingdom built on sacrifice completely defeated the kingdom built on fear. And so this ancient story leaves us with a deeply personal question. Who sits on the throne of your heart? Is it the fearful, controlling Herod of the self? Or is it the loving, sacrificial king who was born in a manger? The choice of who reigns, that's a choice we all have to make.